Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk about interactive design specifically for social media, so digital online media marketing. Before we get into details about this, I want to talk about a common question that's asked, which is, what is the difference between interactive design and graphic design? Since interactive design is an extension of graphic design, an interactive designer is well versed in the fundamentals of graphic design. So for example, a web designer is a color theory, layout, hierarchy, contrast, and typography expert, but it goes beyond just the principles of graphic design and branches out into digital UX, UI, so that's user experience or user interface strategy, and even a little bit of psychology. So according to usability.gov, the definition of an interactive designer is the focus of creating engaging interfaces with well thought out behaviors. Understanding how users and technology communicate with each other is fundamental to this skill. So an interactive designer must know marketing. A good marketing strategy engages your audience, provides meaningful interactions, and establishes strong connections and brand loyalty. The best way to capture your audience's attention is, of course, by standing out. Use your creativity to craft standout content that is uniquely its own, and it will undoubtedly resonate with your target audience. Let's take a look at Facebook, one of our bigger social media platforms. There's so many things that an interactive designer would do for somebody who has their business on Facebook. In particular, listed below are a Facebook cover photo. This creates a positive and lasting first impression with a thoughtfully designed cover photo for your audience. We learn how to, of course, edit photos in Photoshop. You can also, of course, bring them into Illustrator to add any special effects or text. Facebook ads, so your advertisement needs to be eye-catching and informative. And then there's also, of course, Facebook video ads, so similar to the ads, but you want to stick to shorter videos that have important and engaging content. They should be upfront and catch the attention of somebody scrolling. You want them to stop and watch your video, of course. The next one is Twitter. You can see some examples here of companies that are on Twitter. Notice the catchy logos that they have as their profile picture, as well as their cover photos here. So your Twitter header, as you see above here, this welcomes your audience to your Twitter feed with an impressive header photo. Your Twitter video and posts that you create, those should be, instead of simply quoting a phrase, a quote, or fun fact, you want to make sure that it stands out. It's something that's shareable, something that somebody wants to send to their friend. For YouTube, there's a bunch of things that you can create. I have a couple examples here of strong YouTube channels that are really relevant now. One is there's a lot of video vloggers that are doing these travel videos, and there's also a lot specifically teaching you something, like this one, iJustine, actually teaches you how to create video vlogs. So some things that an interactive designer would do for YouTube are the YouTube logo. You do need to upload your logo to your profile. You can use it as your watermark on your videos for any other shared content that you create. Your YouTube thumbnail, a video thumbnail that has the same function as a movie poster or a book jacket, capturing the attention or persuading people that clicking play is worth your time. Your YouTube channel art, so injecting your personality into your YouTube profile page by creating a unique banner that assists with telling the story of your company or brand. Your YouTube intro, this can be an exciting way to add appeal, make your YouTube videos look more professional. It's the little part at the beginning clip of your video. And of course, the video itself, the YouTube video. It's a reminder to think about your metadata. We talked about in our last lesson here, when you add your title or your metadata, you want to be thinking about the keywords and descriptions that you're using so that when somebody is searching for your specific page or your video in this case, that it is going to pop up sooner in their search due to those robots going out and pulling that information. And finally, another big one is Instagram, of course. There's a lot of influencers that are able to potentially help with branding and sending out their wishes of using your products. You can also see an example here of Nike here on Twitter. But what specifically would an interactive designer do on Instagram? It would be the Instagram posts and stories, potentially the actual photo, your profile photo, or the cover image as well. But you want to think about that as you're designing the content for Instagram. Some good ideas to get people to actually look at your content and follow it. Posting behind the scenes posts about something that's happening with your company or business, quotes and text based on images, something that would resonate with your audience, of course, regrams and UGC, which is user-generated content. Instructional posts, so something that's teaching somebody how to do something that, of course, is relevant, again, to them. And the last one would be Reels. So these are all great things to think about as an interactive designer of things that you can do as you create the posts for whoever you are hired by. There are hundreds and hundreds of social media platforms. As you can see here, there's a list of 101 that are supposedly relevant for this year, but the ones that I covered are kind of the biggest ones that are happening now. If we were going to add anything to that list, TikTok is getting up there, and of course Snapchat is something that has been relevant for the last few years that you could add to our current list. One thing I do want to mention is that if you are looking to create content, of course you can create it in Adobe Illustrator. Anything that you create in Illustrator, you can also bring to Adobe Spark. But if you have no design experience, Adobe Spark is a really great way to start from scratch or start from a template and use this really great user-friendly interface to drag and drop and create these items. You can see it already has things specifically for social media. So like an Instagram post, a Facebook cover, it gives you those exact sizes of what you would need to go into the program and actually use the stuff. So for example, if I wanted to create an Instagram post, I can open up this template. It's also going to give me a lot of other examples here on the left-hand side of templates that I could potentially use, but it's so user-friendly. If you click on anything that it gives you here, you can adjust it by using the items here on the right-hand side, whether it's the color, the transparency, the font. But there's also all these other things that you can add in on the side. So for example, text. If you wanted to use any of the text that's here, make sure that it does not have the premium option unless you plan on paying for it. But anything that doesn't have that yellow tag, you can drag right over and again, adjust on the right-hand side. If you want to use any of their free stock photos, there's a lot of them here. You can also add in your own photos that you adjust yourself in Photoshop or Illustrator. There's a lot of free icons that you can use. You can see I search for food last. Again, just drag and drop them right into your design. Design assets, again, make sure you're looking for the ones that don't have the premium option, but a lot of really cool images that you can add in here. Background images, logos. This would be where you would upload your own company logo or the company that you are designing for that you can add into the space consistently. And if you are using other Adobe programs, you can see your libraries of other options that you've created from your experiences in the programs that you've saved to your cloud. Thanks for joining, and I hope you enjoyed today's graphic design tip of the day.